What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And in studio, the palatial Berkshire Studios, is Carrie.
Hello.
Just talk about Pokemon, for Christ's sake. Okay. That's why you're here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm starting Unchecked Out. So yeah, Pokemon Ultra Sun came out this past Friday. So I do like it because it's Pokemon. But a lot of people are comparing it, I think, fairly to when they did Black 2 and White 2, which were sort of like, hey, the new system, which at the time was the 3DS, is out, but like we haven't had enough time to develop for this yet. So basically, so that they don't have like a 2.5-year layover between Pokemon games or whatever, they released Black 2 and White 2 as sort of a carryover. And Black 2 and White 2 was really cool. It was a direct sequel. It was a continuation of the storyline from the first Black and White. All the characters that you saw in the first game have now aged a few years. Some of them are now gym leaders. Some of them are now like the professor's assistant. You have a new rival. There's new towns and whatnot. Ultra Sun and Moon is not that. It's basically like Platinum or Crystal or Emerald. They tweaked the storyline a little bit, but other than that, it's the same. The trial captains are all the same. The storyline is basically the same thing.
I wonder if that's why they decided to go with the two, or not go with the 2 numbering and call it like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah. I mean, it is the best version of those games. There are some surprises, like I'm finding Pokemon in places where they weren't in Sun and Moon. So like,
but what you're telling me is, where in the past they would have made Pokemon Stars, and just come out with one game. They're now double dipping on the double dip, basically. That's interesting.
So yeah, now keep in mind, I am I just passed the ghost type trial. So for those of you who played Sun and Moon, you should know where that is. So I haven't really gotten to the point in the story that focuses real hard on Necrozma and like the new forms of that and whatnot. So we'll see. But, you know, ultimately, it's basically like, here's a fucking Pokemon game for the holiday season because we're not going to have Pokemon on Switch until probably early 2019.
2019, really?
That's what I would expect.
I thought that was always a fall release, though.
No, because Pokemon X and Y released in like March.
They did?
Yeah. The last 3 like sets of games, so like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Sun and Moon, and then Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire have all been November releases, but X and Y was like a spring release. So
I don't remember that far back.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, I mean, they are perfectly okay. It's satiating my need to play a new Pokemon game, even though it's kind of the same experience.
New Pokemon game.
New big air quotes. But like, I'm not mad about it. I'm playing with a very different team than what I did in the first go through on Sun, so it's fine.
Okay.
I'm having a fine time. And if you didn't play Sun or Moon, just pick up Ultra Sun or Ultra Moon instead.
Is it the same price? Or
yeah.
$40.
Yep.
Right.
What? Shut up! Like you're gonna fucking dust off your 3DS to fucking play Pokemon. I'm not
going to do it at all.
Don't lie. Instead, you have been playing Wolfenstein, but not the new Wolfenstein, but rather the old Wolfenstein.
Not the new one yet. So Black Friday, pre-Black Friday sales happened, and I bought all of Dishonored for $32, and I bought all of Wolfenstein for $45.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, hey.
The order came out in 2013?
2014.
I think it was 2014.
I know it was when I was still working at GameStop, so it could not have been any later than 2014.
It's and it's a shooter, man. It is not bare bones, but it's back to basics. You know, there's no gimmicks. There's, you know, BJ Cena can carry every fucking gun ever. and he can dual wield guns that need two hands to hold for some strange reason. But it's killing Nazis, man. It's killing Nazis in an alternate future where the Nazis won, or an alternate past where the Nazis won. And killing Nazis is really, really satisfying, guys. I mean, like, yeah,
and topical.
Yeah, that's why I got it. I was like, you know what? Let me support these people. They're going on Twitter promoting their game as "Let's kill Nazis."
Like I said, you talk about steering into a skid, like that marketing campaign for the second one.
Right.
Yeah, man. So I was like, you know what? I will reward these people for striking while the iron is hot, which unfortunately, that hot iron is the fact that we have Nazis just roaming around America. And I will buy these games, and yeah, man, they're kind of fun. The first one I'm playing the first one right now. There's only one thing that annoys me. When you're walking around, like, you have to literally press a button to pick up ammo and armor. Like, you can't just walk over it and get it. And it's kind of annoying because I have to point the gun, at the piece of ammo that I want to pick for the majority of the time.
It's like that Borderlands style thing.
Yeah, or like Fallout or...
Yeah, and I don't like that. Not in something that is a little more fast-paced than a Fallout. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
BJ is an okay dude. He is a thick-headed, he has what I call a thumb neck. If you hold your thumb up, like, and you draw a little face on it, and then that's just the head, right? Like,
yeah,
neck.
That's fair.
The shape of a thumb, but
he's got a husky sort of build to him.
Yeah. Everybody's like this game relishes in Nazi killing, and I think we all need a little Nazi killing in our lives. So yeah, I'll be playing that, and then I'll get started on the second one, and then I'll give Dishonored a try again, because I just could not see what it was in that game. But
I don't think you're gonna like Dishonored still. Like, I don't think it's gonna change your mind.
Well, we'll see.
Money wasted.
Play
the mic away.
Hey.
So, couple of housekeeping notes I have to get through. We have a 5-star review from our friend across the pond, Kadeem.
Oh, snap!
You're welcome. I thought I'd left a review already. Oh well, better late than never. This is a great show. The hosts are knowledgeable and quite humorous sometimes, as well as being pretty cool people. I'm definitely not saying this because I know them and share a birthday with one of them. Well worth a listen.
Who does he share a birthday with?
I don't know. I
think it's probably Terrence. Okay. I don't think it's me.
Oh, how unfortunate.
I don't think it's me. And I will still thank Kadeem, even though he has poor choice in soccer clubs that he choes to follow. But I don't hold that against him.
Who does he follow?
He follows the Arsenal, who are awful.
Oh, well, that's why I like Kadeem. He follows the team that I pretend to follow.
Well, you are wearing red on this
yeah.
On this show. That's also true, but I'm wearing but I have a Caps logo on my red shirt. If you've not signed up for premium content, do yourself a favor and us too, and go to densepixels.com/premium and sign up for just $5 a month or $50 for the whole year. This trio just recorded the most recent episode of The Men with the Golden Tongues, where we reviewed Quantum of Solace. It was a very good episode, and it'll release sometime in the next week or two, even if the movie, not so much. The Look Forward Political Show has become must listen every single week with Jay and Andy. You can listen to the first hour of that for free, by the way, in a separate feed. But if you want the whole show, you got to subscribe. You also get the Airing Grievances, which I would assume you guys are going to be getting back to recording sometime soon here.
Yeah, I'm waiting on Jay to not be busy.
Good luck.
It is the season this time of year.
It's a bad time of year, but we will have one out before the end of the year, I promise.
and of course, No Time to Bleed as well. Plus, you get weekly episodes of the Nerdpocalypse podcast on YouTube as well, if that is your bag. So, like I said, $5 a month, $50 for the whole year to sign up for that. And then, of course, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, shame on you.
Do it.
Fix it right now. YouTube.com/densepixels. Hit the subscribe button. This podcast gets released every single week on YouTube for free, and any other video features that we do will also find their way onto the channel as well. YouTube.com/dense pixels. Not a big release week this week, as one would imagine. During Black Friday week, there's not usually a lot of stuff that comes out. Axiom Verge, which has been available digitally for a couple years now, at least.
Yeah, I saw this on the docket, and I was like,
yeah, it's getting a retail release.
Oh, okay.
And for the Switch also. It's coming out for the Switch
Neat.
In addition to the PS4. Micah, you'll like this. This is a Metroidvania style game, aka a Metroid style game.
Thank you.
But it's very good. It got rave reviews when it came out. On the digital networks, Microsoft did not update their post this week, so fuck them. But PlayStation did. You get Battle of the Bulge, which is a turn-based World War II strategy game. You get Monster of the Deep, VR, the Final Fantasy fishing mini game that they made for VR.
I have a friend who has been eagerly awaiting this because she has a PSVR, and she's just like, oh, I get to go out with all my Final Fantasy boyfriends, and we get to go fishing. Neat.
She's excited because she has a game to play. Is that what it sounds like?
That's basically it.
Remember when Square said they were actually going to do like real VR stuff for Final Fantasy, and instead we got Final Fantasy Pro Bass Fisherman. Good job. And then another interesting one, Planet of the Apes: Lost Frontier. This is a narrative adventure game that was actually developed by a motion capture studio owned by none other than Andy Serkis.
Interesting.
So if you like those Telltale style games and you like the storyline from the recent Planet of the Apes films, this might be worth a look.
Yeah, I feel like that has the potential to be not terrible.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'll be curious to see what reviews say. Just one new game announcement this week. They did announce today that Valkyria Chronicles 4 is coming in 2018 to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
This is really funny because I had a lot of friends who were like, oh, neat. And then they were like, wait, there was a Valkyria Chronicles 3?
Well, there was. It was that Valkyria Revolution game that came out that was not so much the like turn-based strategy style, and apparently this one's going back to that. Right. So this is all you purists out there that were let down by Valkyria Revolution. I played Valkyria Chronicles 1. It was okay. I can see myself, and especially like again, putting stuff like this on a console that I want to play it on does wonders. I couldn't get through much of Valkyria Chronicles on PlayStation 4 because that's not the type of game that I play on my PS4. I will play the shit out of this on some Nintendo Switch though. So yeah, do more of that.
It'll be interesting. I'm interested to see if Sega once again puts characters from Skies of Arcadia in this series.
I wouldn't know who they are anyway, so it wouldn't affect me one little bit.
That's fine. Another one of those games only I care about.
I forgot to mention Terrence is on assignment. That's why he's not here today. So I guess I'll have to also read some headlines for us as well. GameStop put a temporary stop on their all-you-can-rent used game subscription service called PowerPass.
They didn't really think that one through.
Yeah, so apparently, like I said, the program launched on November 19th, but then they had to stop that later that day temporarily. Not a lot of reason was given, at least as of now. Basically, GameStop did put out a statement when they were pressed for comment that says, quote, "We have elected to temporarily pause the rollout of the new PowerPass subscription service. Based on a few program limitations we have identified, we feel this is the right thing to do for now to ensure we are able to provide our guests with an exceptional service. And if you already purchased the pass, you were able to get a refund on it."
And aren't they also giving you like a free game as well as sort of an apology?
Yeah, it looks like actually. Yeah, they can pick any pre-owned game for free. Doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you checked out as well.
Right.
When you sign up for the service. So
that's not a terrible apology.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there were just some kinks that, and this happens with companies sometimes when you test something in a small modality. That's all I can say about that. Well, do you guys have anything to say about it?
Carrie, do you feel that? Do you feel like the problem? What do you think the actual problem was? Was it the you can keep the game thing, or was it because is GameFly still around? This is essentially the GameFly model.
GameFly right? is still around, and I think
GameFly does movies now. By the way, like you can rent DVDs and Blu-rays from them
because that worked really well for Blockbuster. But yeah, I think having my years of experience with the GameStop systems that I have under my belt, I think it's mostly like that whatever system they're using to keep track of who has the PowerPass and whatnot, probably just like wasn't tested properly, and when they tried to roll it out to all stores, it just shit the bed.
Yeah, those things aren't supposed to be transferable, right? Like there had to be a way that you could limit the I'm very curious to find out what exactly failed on the PowerPass debacle, because if the GameFly model is still working, I can't imagine why it is working, but it's working.
One assumes it was probably more of a logistical issue than anything with the program itself.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything with the program. I think like when they announced it, people were like, oh, wow, GameStop's doing something that people actually want. Wow, that's fucking news. But I think knowing GameStop, something probably just like broke on the store end of things, and they weren't able to actually roll out the system into as many stores all at once as they possibly wanted to. So I hope it works. It's something I was interested in, because I don't always like to keep games after I play them, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck, GameStop.
So we'll see when it comes back. Nintendo and Illumination Entertainment reportedly are in talks to bring a full-featured Mario movie to the silver screen. Now, Illumination is best known for the Despicable Me and Minions movies. And yeah, right now they are allegedly in talks to do a Mario movie, much in the same style. Thank God they're going with an animated CG movie and not, you know, what happened in the early 90s. And one assumes that this news is probably true because when reached for comment, Nintendo said, quote, "We have nothing to announce on this topic."
Which is 100% done deal then.
Right. How excited are you about this, Carrie?
I mean, I fucking hate Minions. Flat out, they're the worst. But I at least have to give credit to the production company because, like, those movies look good. So, assuming that those are the people who would be working on a Mario film, that's fine. I think CG is probably the way to go. I think if you can, you know, make them look like how they looked in Odyssey, neat. But until I see a trailer, I'm not gonna get my hopes up too terribly much.
Are you seeing this, Micah?
Probably. I would probably check this out. I would have to do a little bit of research as to who is writing it, because, like you said, Carrie,
the most important part.
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna look fine, right? I'm not worried about that. I too cannot stand the Minions.
And neither of you guys have kids. That's the thing that baffles me. Like, I'm the one that suffers through this bullshit on a regular. Like Despicable Me has been the movie that my son continually, like, that's the movie this month for him, basically, that he continually pulls out and wants to watch over and over again.
I don't have kids, but I have seen a couple of those movies, so I'll let you figure out why.
Where?
At home.
I'll let you figure out
because a good friend of his might have wanted to watch them.
Good friend.
Let's put it that way.
But yeah, I would definitely check this out with a caveat that it is being written by people that I think are funny.
Now here's a question for both of you. Do they get Charles Martinet to do the voice, or do they get somebody else?
Oh.
They would get someone else.
I think they would get someone else, but I think that would piss off a lot of the fan base.
I don't know if they should use Charles Martinet, and here's why: because Charles Martinet, it's not like he's ever spoken long lines of dialogue as Mario. Like, it's only woohoo, or, you know, just making his little Mario noises.
Right.
Meanwhile, we have had media animated media where Mario did speak,
like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Yes. Much superior to the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, by the way, was the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
That also came out that I can't find anywhere. You can find the Super Show on Netflix.
If they don't do the Mario as the credits to this movie,
that's also true. Yeah, they probably should do
down
that.
the theater.
Wait, is Captain Lou Albano still alive?
No, he's long dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's been long dead.
That's unfortunate.
You're gonna get a Mario that sounds like he's not gonna be that high pitched. No matter who they get, they're not gonna get a high pitched guy. I like.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think it would fool people, especially if they go to like New Donk City in the movie, and then you just raise a bunch of questions about the regular heighted people versus like the squatty Mario. I don't know, but yeah, you'll probably get a guy who kind of sounds like this.
No, that's way too low. I need Mario to have like the Waku high pitched voice, or I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah, I think
here's the thing. I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna nitpick the shit out of this movie.
Oh, everybody will. They're like you were only going to appease half of the fan base for this film with just that one aspect alone.
Yeah,
with the voice. So
I think you're gonna get an animated Bob Hoskins performance. That's what I think you'll get.
But Bob Hoskins is also dead.
Luigi Mario.
Oh, maybe they could get John Leguizamo back. That'd be nice.
That'd be a nice little callback. Like he doesn't have to be Luigi. Let him be Waluigi.
Oh, yo.
That'd actually be pretty funny if they did that. I don't know if they'd introduce Waluigi in the first Mario Brothers movie.
I don't know. I would like to see Wario and Waluigi and Daisy.
Yeah, but John Leguizamo was like the only person that survived that awful Mario Brothers movie. Everybody else is dead.
Oh shit! Yeah,
is this the woman who played?
No, Samantha Mathis is still alive too. Actually,
bring her back as Daisy. Who gives a shit? Because of course it wasn't Peach in that movie. It was
not Peach. It was Daisy. It absolutely was, which I'm sure gives you some sort of smug satisfaction, even though that movie is filth and quite awful.
A little bit. I will stand for Daisy.
It's a good thing that there aren't enough video game movies in existence to do a video game movie review show, because I would hate to have to fucking do that. On this
here's
network.
The thing. Like, you do that monthly, there's probably enough at this point. None of them are good.
They would all be bad. Like, I there's only so many bad movies I can watch.
I don't know. I think that'd be a really funny podcast.
I don't know, because a lot of those would not be bad in a fun way. They would just be bad in a soul-crushingly sad way.
You don't want to watch Hitman?
I do not want to watch Hitman or the other Hitman. I don't want to watch either of them. No, thank you.
How many Blood Rain movies did they do?
There were 3.
There were 3 of them.
For some ungodly reason, yes. Because Uwe Boll enjoyed losing money, so he can get refunded from the government. Apparently, it's terrible. But anyway, some sad news, especially for Micah. Marvel Heroes, the free-to-play action RPG from Gazillion Entertainment, is shutting down at the end of the year. Apparently, the deal ended between Marvel and Gazillion on this, and Disney, not wanting to do a lot in game producing and things of that nature, declined to renew it, unfortunately.
This kind of sucks. Marvel Heroes is a game that I would go back to periodically, just because you play it and you're like, oh wow, this is fun, okay, I've had my fill, and then take a break, and then you boot it back up, and all the feels come back. And it was a competent Diablo style MMO. I remember going to a Comic-Con. I think it was San Diego, and I saw this game, and I went up to the guy and I said, well, what's the deal? Like, how do you explain all these different Iron Man and all these different Captain Americas? And he was like, well, just like if you're running around playing pretend with your friends and two people want to be Iron Man, it's just like that, right? And I'm like, that's the lamest fucking excuse I've ever heard. But you know what? Whatever, guy. Your game looks fun. Yeah, the writing's been on the wall for a while for me.
Apparently their weekly community update just didn't appear for like a month, and so fans are starting to get concerned.
Yeah, every time there is some sort of every time there was some sort of Marvel event going on in the real world, the game would have a special event to correspond to it. When Daredevil came out on Netflix, they had an update that lets you play as, you know, Netflix Daredevil, and you know they'll give you different quests and stuff like that. And when nothing happened for Thor, I was like, well, this is it then. That's the final nail in the coffin, because they were always on point with that. So it was a fun game while it lasted, man, and it lasted a good long while.
A few years. Apparently they're going to make everything available for free for the last 6 weeks that the game is in existence.
Even the Fantastic
to get
Four?
Their share.
I remember they got rid of the Fantastic Four, so if you didn't buy the Fantastic Four, didn't have them unlocked, you couldn't play them, and that was all part of the whole, the Fantastic Four are dead to us at Marvel, so we don't want anything. Right. There's the Fantastic Purging. So I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, but all right, that's kind of cool. They'll make everything free. I saw a bunch of people getting all pissy, talking about they want a refund and this, that, and the other. And like, look, man, I'm sorry that the game is shutting down, but I don't know if you are entitled to a refund unless you bought something like within a week of the announcement. Otherwise, you kind of know what you're doing here. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, any of these games as service where it's contingent on continued support, you kind of have to know going in, like, this is not going to last forever,
right?
And you kind of have to, when you buy something, you have to figure out, is this worth it for me? You know what I mean? Is this going to be worthwhile for me to buy this thing and get whatever use I get out of it?
Yep. So that sucks.
It does suck. I'm sure Gazillion will move on to something else cool. Disney is going to Disney. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that does suck. Game always looked interesting, but I just played Diablo, so I never really piqued my interest. So
I mean, if you played Diablo, and like if you were really into Diablo, you're gonna look at Marvel Heroes and be like, what is this baby game? But it was very, very casual.
So Bungie last Wednesday did a live stream to show off the first bits of content from the Curse of Osiris expansion. I, of course, watched the entire thing because that's what I'm prone to do. They took you on a tour of the lighthouse on Mercury. Brother Vance is there. That's the social space, and Brother Vance is your vendor. Apparently, once you finish the campaign, you'll be able to forge weapons at the lighthouse, which is kind of a new thing for Destiny. They briefly showed off the Infinite Forest, which is kind of like the open area space that you can go to, which has different like historical permutations. Like you go to the past version of Mars, which is like a lush garden. You can go to a future version of Mars where basically it's a dead planet and all that's there is Vex, essentially. So it's got some cool stuff. Bringing back heroic strikes for the first time in Destiny 2, which is going to have a 270 power level. But then the thing that everyone was really excited to find out was what they meant by new raid content that they had teased before, going into the expansion. So first, the level cap for the raids, or I shouldn't say, the recommended power will raise up to 300 for the regular raid, because they are raising the power cap for the game to 335. But new raid content means that they are going to have a raid, what they call a raid layer. This is the first of its kind. They've never done this in Destiny before. According to Bungie, a raid layer is a brand new 6-player raid activity. It's an entirely new set of encounters, new puzzles, new loot, and a new final boss at the end. So if you kind of read between the lines there, it is basically a shorter version of the regular raid, essentially. And it will also take place on the Leviathan, because the Leviathan is a planet-sized ship, so they can have all sorts of experimentation with that. And there will be another raid encounter releasing when the second expansion comes out in the spring, the Rasputin expansion that's coming out. So yeah, so new loot, new raid sets. We still have to do the first raid. That'd be good if we did that before before this came out, though I don't know if we're gonna find the time to get that done.
That's one thing about Destiny that that this raid layer seems to kind of rectify a little bit. Like the raids, I understand, putting in time, right? But the raids are long, man.
Well, they're long the first couple times. Like once you with the Leviathan raid, once you get it down, like I've seen most teams that do it regularly, though, you can beat it in less than an hour. It's not that hard to do once you know what you're doing. But the first time through, I mean, it took even the best teams 6 hours to play through it the first time to go in blind and figure it out.
No.
And even a fresh team, even if you know what you're supposed to do, just the difficulty of executing the puzzles in each of the room that require a lot of teamwork and a lot of precision, it's still going to take you a good couple hours to get through it.
That's what happened with me in the first one. Like I had somebody walk me through it, and it was like 2 or 3 hours, man. And I was just like, all right, I don't care anymore. Like I'm done. Like this game trains you through its strikes and its crucible to have 20-minute matches and do something else. Even if that something else is the same thing, you're still doing it in a different location with different people under different rules. And I get it, right? I get that the raid is meant to be something different and meant to be this like big challenging thing, but I don't know. It's just my personal preference. So I'm very curious as to what this raid layer thing is.
This is why I don't play Destiny.
Think of the raid as going through the entire Elite Four in one sitting, basically.
Well, first of all, that's the only way to beat the Elite Four. But yeah, I don't know. I understand its appeal. It doesn't appeal to me. So neat for people who play Destiny.
I really
getting an expansion.
I really want to finish. I do really want to finish the main raid once, though. At least once, just to say, hey, I did it, to get the trophy, and also to get my long range shotgun. So
yeah,
that's what I want. And there'd be a stream 2 from them is going to be on Tuesday the 21st, I think at 2 p.m. Eastern. There'll be a third one as well where they're going to go on a shooting tour, the Infinite Farce. Looks cool. I'm looking forward to this expansion, though. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Finally, if we had a This Week in Stupid, this would be the story that goes there. A Twitch streamer decided to purchase Sonic Forces from Steam, beat the game, and then request a refund while live on air.
Those are some balls.
Yeah. Ouija the God is his stream name. His real name is Cade McNown. But he streamed Sonic Forces on November 12th, which was a few days after the game launched. He encountered a lot of bugs while he played, and apparently it wasn't very fun because of all these bugs. Man, a 3D Sonic game being buggy.
Wow.
Who'd have thought? However...
Welcome to 1999, Ouija the God.
However, when he beat the game, which took a little over 2 hours and 40 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Damn.
He then streamed himself asking for a refund from Steam. But here's the problem. When he asked for the refund, he did not talk about the game's glitches or technical issues that it had. Rather, he said to Steam that he, quote, bought the wrong game. And he asked for the refund. Now, is that it will allow a refund of a game within 14 days of purchase, only if, though, that you play for less than 2 hours. And he played in 2 hours and 40 minutes. However, in this case,
they gave him the refund.
Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that he was on camera. Not that they would be watching his stream, but despite the fact that he was on camera, requesting it, and now people are mad at him, which is a little rightful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair, but I also think it's fair to play through that fucking nightmare hellscape of a Sonic game and want your money back.
Look, I get why he wants his money back, and I get why people are mad. But you know what? I'm not mad at him.
Well, I mean, it's the game is like that. This is a case of don't hate the player, hate the game.
Right.
So.
Yeah, quite literally.
Like, be mad at Steam for giving it to him. Like,
also be mad at fucking Sega for releasing a Sonic game that you can beat in 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. I've sunk way more time into playing through Sonic Mania, which, by the way, is a fucking good game. Like, better than Sonic Forces. So you know what?
I mean, when you're comparing two pieces of shit next to each other, and one piece of shit looks better, looks nicer than like an old piece of shit that's all dry and kind of like white colored.
Look,
that's not.
Sonic Mania is a fun time. The music is good. The game plays well. The level design is fun. The bosses are fun. Meanwhile, Sega tried to win people over by being like, hey, you can make your Sonic OC from 1998 canon. You can do that now. So, and that didn't work. Clearly, because the game is still shitty. So, maybe future Sonic games should all just be handed to the fans, since it's clear that the fans can do a better job when making a Sonic game.
How sad is that? Professional developers at Sega can't make a decent Sonic game, but apparently Sonic fans can make one that is accepted by the community. Mm-hmm. I still can't believe that you can beat Sonic Forces in 2.5 hours. That's absolutely ridiculous to me.
I'm not at all surprised by it.
And I know that game's a $40 game, like they're not charging full price. For it,
$40?
That could be a $20 game.
Yo, I thought it was a $20 game. That's why I was like, whatever. That game is $40. First of all, if you're paying $40 for a Sonic game, you're stupid. Second of all,
then I'm stupid.
Well,
I got the collector's edition of Sonic Mania.
Well, no, so you paid $20 for a Sonic game and you paid $50 for a Sonic statue.
That's true. That's what I did.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
Statue's nice
because you're paying for that statue. This guy bought a 3D Sonic game. Is Sonic Mania 3D or whatever?
No, it's 2D. It's the retro style. It's literally meant to be successor.
It's a return to form for Sonic.
It's meant to be a successor to Sonic and Knuckles.
I mean, look, I was never like a huge Sonic fan.
You have common sense.
Hey,
I just find it to be terrible platforming. Like Sonic to me is like every level is an ice level. Like he just fucking had all this stupid momentum and like I need precision. But anyway, 3D Sonic games they're the devil, man.
They're not good. Like, none of them are good.
Like BJ Blazkowicz.
0 of them are good.
BJ Blazkowicz should be shooting 3D Sonic games. Like that's how bad they are. Like they're the equivalent of Nazis. As far
people have a lot of nostalgia, I think, for the 2 Sonic Adventure games, but like I need those people to go back and play those games now, because those games are not good. They're not good. Go back and play through fucking Big the Cat's shit in Sonic Adventure and tell me that that's a good game. Fuck you.
Is this the same Sonic game that Sonic was kissing a human woman at the end of it?
No, that's Sonic 06.
Jesus Christ. I mean, that is nightmare fuel right there. Yeah, look, I understand why everybody's mad, but I can't be mad. Like, don't ask, don't get. He asked for a refund, and Steam was like, yeah, whatever. We make enough money. We could throw $40 back at you.
This ain't hurting Steam at all.
Right.
It's hurting Sega a little bit. So
right.
Maybe Sega should make better games.
Maybe Sega should just stop. I'm serious, man. Like maybe they should.
I'm trying to think, like, what has Sega done since the Dreamcast, like, ate shit in 1990 or 2002, whatever it was. Like, what have they done that has been worthwhile since then? I honestly can't name anything.
Worthwhile?
Yeah.
That's a different question. I mean, they put out the Yakuza games, don't they?
I guess. I think they publish Yakuza. They develop Yakuza.
They're publishing Valkyria Chronicles 4. I forgot they published those as well. So they do the Total War series now. I think Sega's a little bit better than you guys are giving them credit for right now. Those Total War games are good. They did publish Yakuza.
Right, but like they don't develop Yakuza.
But they publish it.
Someone else would fucking publish it.
They published the Football Manager series, a very popular game series. It is.
The soccer management game?
Dude, that thing's like gangbusters, not in America. I'm telling you.
I don't understand.
I'm telling you.
That's just fucking D&D for nerds.
Excuse me. Luigi Mansion Arcade in Japan was published by Sega, making their little coin op machines. I don't like the Sega slander that's happening here. I am going to stake the honor of Sega right here on this show. You guys are slandering them. Aside from that one insignificant character that they have that is fucking terrible, everything else from Sega is apparently fantastic.
Because Virtua Fight is still worthwhile in 2017.
Terrence would agree.
Huge Sonic fan. Brad is
false. I am anti Sonic, but I am a Sega defender. I enjoyed Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch.
Tetris
How about that?
Fun.
How about that?
I'm just saying, someone else would have picked these games. Up.
How many
Tetris game? Is that what you're saying? You enjoyed a Tetris game?
How many Hatsune Miku fans are they out there? Huh? You know the answer to this question. A lot. Obviously.
Too fucking many.
They're being served by Sega. But yeah, fuck Sonic. You know what? Sega would go further as a publisher if it wasn't for Sonic the Hedgehog. How about that? I've got nostalgia goggles for Sonic, which is why I really like Mania. But yeah, I mean, we got to realize that Sega as a company is publishing more shit than they are gold. So I think it's just the Sonic games that are awful that they're putting out. They eliminate Sonic from their catalog, Sega will be terrific game publisher.
I don't know.
And that's where we're going to leave it because I can. Sonic sucks. And if you want to buy non-Sonic but other quality Sega titles and help the show, you can go to densepixels.com/Amazon to buy your Sega games or any other games or whatever you want from Amazon.com.
You know what you can buy?
What can you buy?
densepixels.com/Amazon. You can buy my book.
That's right. Carrie has a book.
$15. It's a great stocking stuffer. The Overstreet Guide to Collecting Video Games came out earlier this year. It's extremely up to date. A lot of good information. I worked really hard on that book, so you should buy it.
That's right. And then you can buy the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games
next year.
Mm-hmm. Which may or may not have a cameo from your other favorite video game podcast. So it's possibly. We'll see. But yeah, densepixels.com/Amazon. You pay the same low Amazon prices, but we get a small percentage of the sale. It helps pay for things like equipment and hosting fees and things of that nature. So thank you. I mean, we have to pay hosting fees to host the show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we don't get a fee. Our the man at the top of the food chain does.
Yeah.
But that's where all the money's being funneled. So but again, densepixels.com/Amazon.
For these trickle-down economics to kick in.
Funneled or embezzled, depending on who you talk to. Funneled or embezzled. But yes, densepixels.com/Amazon. I'll tell you what you can't buy on densepixels.com/Amazon.
What's that, Brad?
Is microtransactions for Star Wars Battlefront 2.
You know, I like them when when you see them coming a mile away, but they're still funny. You know? I still like it. Yes, Star Wars Battlefront won't offer paid microtransactions as of this moment.
For now.
Following a week of just EA and DICE just getting run right over all of the hot coals for their business practices. Like, it made the Washington Post. I was like, God damn.
Fuck them.
Oscar Gabrielson general manager of the development studio DICE acknowledged the widespread backlash, and he is quoted as saying, "As we approach the worldwide launch, it is clear that many of you feel that there are challenges in the design. We've heard the concerns about potentially giving players unfair advantages, and we've heard that this is overshadowing an otherwise great game." Not what I heard.
I heard it's okay.
This was never our intention. Sorry we didn't get this right. We hear you loud and clear, so we're turning off all in-game purchases. And then we're going to not hear you loud and clear and turn them back on later. We will now spend more time listening, adjusting, balancing, tuning. This means that the option to purchase crystals in the game is now offline, and all progression will be earned through gameplay. The ability to purchase crystals in game will become available at a later date, only after we've made changes to the game. We'll share more information as we work through this. Look, this is them doing a sloppy job of damage control.
Yeah.
I mean, this is still a pretty significant occurrence, though.
It is. Like, I think most companies, I figured EA was just going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're going to do it anyway.
I mean, most companies are. Like, this is literally the first, like, there's smaller games that have tweaked their microtransaction, economy.
Sure, but
over
for
time.
A game one developed and being published by EA as their big shooter this year. But it's fucking Star Wars. Like, a ton of people are going to be interested in it because episode 8 comes out in 25 days. Not that I'm counting. But I was really surprised that they would do this. Of course, they're going to turn it on in like a week and be like, we fixed it and nothing will have changed.
Right.
And
I feel like both of you are being extremely cynical about this entire situation.
It's EA.
And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't understand that. I think that the backlash that they received from this game was so mighty that there's no way that they can't go back to the drawing board and take a serious look at how the economy of Star Wars Battlefront 2 works and not make significant adjustments to that don't make the microtransactions as much of, or really, I mean, if they come back and the microtransactions are pay to win at all, they're going to get killed. So that part of it, they're going to have to make it a cosmetic thing. Now it's going to be difficult to do because those star cards are so integrated into the game system that you can't just like abandon those, right? Like you still have to have those in the game. So they're going to have to do a lot of tweaking as far as what does the in-game currency buy you, not the microtransaction currency, but the in-game currency, how fast do you earn it? What do the crystals, which is the microtransaction currency, buy? Like they're going to have to take a hard look at that. And the end result will hopefully be something that's more palatable to the fans. But the thing that I'm curious about is what will the ripple effect be for the rest of the game industry? Like is this going to give pause to any company that is going to be, take a more aggressive approach, let's say, with their microtransactions, and maybe make them take a step back and say, oh man, like look what happened with Battlefront. If we're not careful, like that could be us too.
I think that EA should have stuck to their guns, or don't give this hollow, like, well, we're going to turn them off. And like, you don't negotiate with the fans. And if it's Star Wars, like you said, people are going to buy it. I
mean, to be even more fair, like probably 90% of the people who buy this game probably weren't even aware of the controversy that surrounded it.
Right. I think that they should not have negotiated with these terrorists. I think they should have stuck to their guns, and did some tweaking later on down the line. Look, the only thing that's going to satisfy this vocal, these people who are like super mad, is if you get rid of microtransactions altogether.
I don't think that's true.
You're not going to.
I don't know that that's true. I just think the problem with this game specifically, at least from what I've read, is that like you could either spend real money to buy a character like Luke Skywalker, or you could grind in the game for like 40 fucking hours, which is a long time to play a game.
Well, no, that wasn't even the bigger issue was the fact that you could get like when you bought the crystals, you could get a shit ton of loot boxes, and the loot boxes would actually have these star cards that you could put on your multiplayer characters and upgrade them to ridiculous abilities.
Well, before they are supposed to be it's like getting the golden ticket. You know what I mean?
I think loot box culture in general is not good for the industry. But I think the fact that Overwatch is sort of seen the kind of success that they have with that. Now, the stuff with Overwatch, that's all cosmetic shit with them. Like, you're not unlocking characters early. You're not unlocking abilities early with loot boxes in Overwatch. And that's, I think, how you kind of have to have loot boxes, is just have it be cosmetic shit that doesn't, influence the actual gameplay at all or influence how well your character performs. So that's what I would say EA probably needs to overhaul, is like what you actually get in the loot boxes.
Yeah.
They've been getting killed. Like, they've even been getting killed from inside the industry on this. Like, fucking start like Blizzard's poking fun at them, which is a little glass, throwing stones in glass house of them, but whatever. They talked to CD Projekt Red because someone heard a rumor that there might be microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, I love.
And they went out and be like, oh no, we leave the greed to other people. Like, we're not worried about that. We're just gonna make a good game.
Big old fuck you to EA on that one. They're like, we don't believe in games as a service. We believe in getting a full, complete single-player experience out of the box so that you are satisfied on day one. And I'm just like, all right. Like, one, I believe you because that's what The Witcher 3 absolutely was, but also, like, savage. Like,
listen, I am more optimistic than the two of you on this particular, at least as it pertains to Battlefront 2. I mean, you're still going to see people, creep right up to that line and step over it in some cases with microtransactions. But I think that EA is doing the right thing here, and you have, if you're going to criticize them for putting the shit in the game in the first place, you have to also acknowledge when they are willing to take that step back under duress, but still willing to take that step back to fix the issue. I'm not going to be sold on EA's response to the Battlefront controversy until we see how microtransactions are reintroduced into the game.
Yeah, I can't give them some sort of attaboy for, like you said, doing this, one, under duress, and two, like, they're going to, like you said, Carrie, I'm going to need to see something. Look, I'm not buying this game anyway, right? Like, I'm still
That's fair.
I'm still pissed at Mass Effect. You know what I mean? But
I don't think you're the only one on this podcast who's still pissed at Mass Effect.
It doesn't seem to me that this is 100%. I mean, because it's not genuine. You know what I mean? Well,
from DICE, I think it is.
Maybe from DICE.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe from DICE, but and look, they're probably in an impossible situation, right? Like, I like to think that DICE just wanted to make a game, and then they were mandated by their corporate overlords to, find a way to squeeze money out of people.
Wouldn't it be nice if everything worked out? If everything was just so in this world.
So we'll see. I hear the game is not all that great, but
I heard the campaign was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, I love how they were like, we have a single player in this game. Wow. And then it's like, it's 3.5 hours. Go fuck yourself. Like, don't dedicate, like, don't trot out John Boyega to be like, hey guys, we have a single player.
Did too.
And then, like, have it be the most half-assed thing on the planet. Like, that's so shitty. That's really not something I'm a fan of.
Yeah, we'll see. we'll see. The Game Awards.
No.
The Keeleys.
The Keeleys.
Well, it's called the Keeleys, like much like the Academy Awards are the Academy Awards, but the actual statue you get is called the Oscar. That's what I like to think happens here. It is the Game Awards, but then you take home a little 1 foot tall Jeff Keighley with fucking Mountain Dew in one hand and Doritos in the other, giving that fucking stupid ass look like.
I don't know. I saw a picture of him from a previous Game Awards where he had like the Richard Nixon pose going. Like he was like, ah. Yeah. So I like to think the statue is actually that particular pose.
Yeah, because he's a crook. I don't know why I said that. I just don't know. The Game Awards are coming. The winners will be revealed Thursday, December 7th. And you can find out how to watch it. I guess you can only stream the Game Awards.
Yes, they do not broadcast it on broadcast television anymore.
Because it was stupid to broadcast it on broadcast television in the first place.
Yes, I enjoyed last year's show much better than any of the I will too.
Yeah.
I will probably be recording a podcast, so I will not be able to watch live. But they do have the nominees out, and we'll just go through some of these, and if there's a category you want to talk about, we can talk about it.
Well, we got to start with Game of the Year.
Absolutely. Game of the Year. The nominees are The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, which I'm kind of surprised, and Horizon Zero Dawn, which
I was really surprised by Persona 5 being included in this category. But then I thought about it a little more, and I realized that Persona 5 somehow broke through the JRPG barrier into the mainstream. I don't know how it happened. It's a really fucking good game.
Remember too that the nominees are voted on by a panel of industry media folks, essentially. So they're in tune to something like Persona 5.
That's true, but I also have one of my friends who I know via baseball fandom. He was like, I'm maybe interested in either Nier or Persona 5. And I was like, you should play Persona 5. And he platinumed it. And I was like, what happened? He went from what is a Persona to I've platinumed the game in 2 weeks. And I'm like,
Jesus. God damn.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that's Persona 5 is the first game within the Shin Megami Tensei franchise that has, for whatever reason, had that sort of more mainstream presence.
So if there's any controversy on Game of the Year, it is of course that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is nominated, which is a game that is technically not officially released yet. It's still in early access.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to even acknowledge that. Of the four that I do acknowledge, one, Horizon's, I'm a little surprised it was nominated. Just a little bit.
No, I'm not.
I'm not at all.
It's a great game, but and I guess I can't really think of one off the top of my head that deserves to be on there more so. But it's got no chance.
It's a weird year for games.
Oh, I disagree. I think if Zelda doesn't win, which is what my prediction would be, then I think Horizon is the next best shot at winning. Because if Zelda doesn't win, it's only going to be because Mario and Zelda split the votes for a Nintendo game.
I wouldn't be mad if it won. I just, for some reason, I don't think it will. I think people will come out in droves for Zelda. Best game direction awarded to a game studio for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
Now this Horizon should probably win.
I don't know. I think this is also going to go to Breath of the Wild.
I don't know.
I think it will solely on the fact that it is a truly open world Legend of Zelda experience. It's the first truly open world role-playing experience that Nintendo has ever developed, and I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. I think, for the last 6 years, Skyrim has been the benchmark by which all other open world games in many senses have been judged against, and I think Breath of the Wild is now that benchmark.
But in terms of creative vision, I think that
look, I had a feel at the end of that game, so
in terms, and look, correct me if I'm wrong, when I see best game direction, it is the look, the pacing, the everything visual about the game. Look, these other 3 nominees, Wolfenstein, Resident Evil, Mario, I don't think they'll win. I do think it's going to be between Zelda and Breath of the Wild. And for some reason, I think Horizon,
Zelda and Breath of the Wild.
I mean, slip. I think it'll be between Breath of the Wild and Horizon. And for some reason, I do think Horizon might take it just because it has a different look. Like Zelda looks like a Zelda game. And I don't know, talking out of my ass.
I would say Mario probably has a shot at that just based on creative direction. I mean, you look at how unique each world in that game is while still very much feeling cohesive.
Is there any way that Cuphead does not win best art direction?
No. Nope. I think the only one that might have a shot in that category is Persona.
Yeah, and even still.
Yeah.
If Destiny 2 does not win best score, I will murder somebody because that would be bullshit.
I think Persona's got a shot in that category too because that soundtrack was lit as fuck.
I own that soundtrack.
Persona?
That's how good it is. I fucking love that acid jazz. Like, I love it.
It's real good.
I love it.
I can listen to like basically any of the battle themes, any of the vocal themes from that game on a loop and not get sick of it.
Yeah. Has anybody played Hellblade?
No.
Because apparently sound plays a big part in that game.
I have a couple friends who have played it and they say it's really good. So I'm not really surprised to see it nominated for this sort of thing. But
what the hell is Games for Impact? For a thought-provoking game with profound.
I think it's. I mean, you just described it, right? Like it's one of those games that
a game that makes you think,
right, or that raises awareness of a cause, and Hellblade will probably win because that game did a lot to kind of show mental illness in a game.
Yeah, I think the one that won last year was That Dragon Cancer, and I know that was a game that, like, I think not a lot of people played, but it got a lot of press because it basically told that guy's story of dealing with the fact that his son was going to die. So I don't know.
They have a category for best ongoing game,
which is so stupid.
I don't think it's stupid. I think
it's stupid.
I think it's a way to highlight like a game that like Destiny should never win Game of the Year, right? But it still deserves to be. Like it's still an important game in gaming. You know what I mean? Like World of Warcraft, you could be nominated for this award in another year.
That's fine.
Yeah, Overwatch will probably win, right?
Overwatch best mobile.
It'll be
I'm
Monument Valley,
shocked
probably.
to see Super Mario Run even nominated. Handheld is going to go to Metroid. Period.
Yeah, I can't see anything beating out Metroid except maybe Monster Hunter.
Maybe
they might be able to make a case for that.
You might get some votes in.
How the fuck did Poochie and Yoshi get nominated for best handheld game? Okay, whatever you say.
It was good.
That thing's name is Poochie.
Dog.
Yeah, where you been? That's been his name since 1995, bro. Where you been at?
I didn't know that was his name. Like,
yeah.
I've seen him. I just didn't know it was his name.
Best RPG, I don't know why they even bothered nominating stuff besides Persona 5 because I'm pretty sure that's going to win going away in that category.
I think Persona 5 is the obvious shoo-in, but I think it might get some, I don't know, challenge from Final Fantasy 15 because those were the two big ones this year. Like, I did not play Final Fantasy 15 because much as I like boy bands, that's not really my kind of game.
Now, Micah, best fighting game, Injustice 2 is going to win. But I would be willing to accept ARMS winning.
I voted for
just
ARMS.
to see Terrence's reaction to it.
If ARMS wins, I mean, we might never hear from Terrence again.
his head might explode.
Oh man,
yeah, man, I kind of wanted to win now, just so I could hear him blow the fuck up on the podcast.
It's a stacked year this year, though. Unfortunately, that like if it had released next year, it might have had a shot at it.
Yeah, the problem was, like you said, it's Injustice is going to win it.
Injustice will definitely win. They have a new category for I don't know if there's a new category, best family game. This is where Splatoon belongs, in the family game category, not a shooter best action game of the year. Fuck that.
I like Splatoon.
They got rid of they got rid of the best shooter category because it was such a travesty that game won 2 years ago. and I
here's the thing, it would win again this year.
I don't know about that.
What is it going up against?
What, for shooters?
Yeah.
Destiny.
Oh, I guess.
I guess.
I'm thinking like Call of Duty, World War II, Star Wars Battlefront, like.
I will tell you that the makers of XCOM and the makers of Halo Wars could be really pissed when Mario and Rabbids win Best Strategy Game.
That's gotta be so
this year. What else we got here? I again raise my objection to having sports and racing combined into one category.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Those are two different things.
Fuck that. Oh, there is best multiplayer. Okay.
And Destiny 2 is in there. But the thing is,
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds will win that category.
Battlegrounds is going to win that.
Yep.
Most anticipated game.
Presented by McCafe.
Presented by a caramel frappe.
The most bullshit award has a sponsor.
That's going to go to
Spider-Man. What a
Man.
dumb award.
Yeah.
What a dumb fucking award.
A really dumb award. Like, it is a fucking waste. Like,
remember when that went to No Man's Sky?
Yep,
that's how that's how important that award.
And look, it paid off in the end, didn't it? It lived up to the billing of most anticipated.
It was the most anticipated.
It was, and now
you got me.
And
there.
now it is a great game.
Oh Jesus!
Sure. They should have a special award this year for best redemption story.
Okay, Jan.
And give it to No Man's Sky. That's what they should do. I'm gonna call Jeff Keighley today and figure that out.
Trending gamer.
I mean,
streamers
YouTubers. Basically YouTube people. I mean, Terrence was 6th, I think, on this list. Like he finished just outside of the top 5.
But
I don't know who any of these people are.
Oh, I know who Andrea Renee is.
I know who Andrea Renee
girl
is.
on the GameStop TV.
That was on the GameStop TV.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
She
I thought she looked familiar.
She has her own channel with 3 other ladies called What's Good Games that she's on.
Neat.
The description of this: for a streamer, influencer, or media member who has made an important impact on the industry.
Well, so like Steven Spahn, he is a guy that runs this thing called Able Gamers, who basically work to get bring awareness to making games more accessible for disabled folks.
Okay.
Essentially, What's Good Games is, again, it's a media network of 4 women in talking about video games, which is not something you see every day.
It should be something you see every day.
It should be, but now you are. That's why Andrea Renee is nominated this year. So,
all right. Well, it sounds like it's between one of those two. Because these other 3 dudes look like typical
best
gamers.
Esports.
Yeah, they've quite a few. Quite a few esports awards.
Esports game.
Oh, that'll be Rocket League. I think Rocket League will win that.
I think Overwatch, because now that you've got like the official Overwatch league, I think that's going to go to Overwatch.
I mean, they do have an official Rocket League. There's another sponsored award, the best debut indie game, presented by Chic Hydro. No, I don't want to vote for Hollow Knight. What are you doing? Get out of here. Get out of here, Jeff Keighley. Stop taking my vote. So again, Cuphead will probably win that.
I think Golf Story might have a shot. Golf Story was super fun.
Best Chinese game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is an award.
I don't understand that.
Fuck?
I don't understand that at all.
A fan voted award to recognize the most popular game in China as judged by the Game Awards viewers in China.
They're gonna have to fix that name, man.
Best China game.
This is the best Chinese game. Like, this sounds like a black person trying to describe somebody Asian.
Either that, or just describing the game that you play for a lot. You binge it in like a half an hour session, and then you don't want to play anymore. But then 2 hours later, you want to play it again. Yeah.
God damn it.
So that's what that is. So yeah, I don't have any. I don't feel like anything got shafted
No.
in the awards this year.
I think everything that should have been up for an award is up for that award.
Yeah, like I said, as good of a year it was in gaming, it was definitely a year where it was clear to see what the best games were. I will say that I'm a little miffed to not see Mass Effect Andromeda anywhere on here.
Really?
A little miffed. A little upset.
For best action adventure game or role-playing game.
Or role-playing game, yeah, sure.
What else
Could have done that.
It could have beat out South Park. Like it could have took.
Yeah, it could have beat out South Park.
I've heard the Fractured Butthole is a pretty okay game. Like
it is a nice solid 2.5 out of 5. Like it is
really. I don't know. I've got friends who have played it and raved about it, and I'm like,
are they South Park fans?
Some of them are. Some of them are just sort of like casual watchers. So I don't.
I'm a casual watcher, and yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It is competent.
Was Mass Effect better?
For me, it was.
Call Jeff Keighley. Let's get this happening. Let's get this happening.
A lot less shit jokes in Mass Effect. A lot less shit jokes.
And of course, and again, you should watch the Game Awards so that we can look forward to the next clip of new stuff from Death Stranding, and then Jeff Keighley effusing praise.
Sure.
All over Hideo Kojima.
Do you really think we're going to see that? Have they confirmed that that's happening?
No, but it is the Game Awards. Jeff Keighley is there. And Kojima he can't go 2 hours without talking about Hideo Kojima. So I mean, one assumes that they're going to have something for Death Stranding there.
This is true.
The game
it's going to be like
3 years
a
to come out,
mocap of Norman Reedus shitting in a bucket and like and Guillermo del Toro.
Watch Death Stranding win most anticipated game despite not being nominated. Just from Jeff Keighley write-ins. Like it's just like that alone is going like he spends any waking hour not working on the Game Awards writing in votes for Death Stranding to win most anticipated game presented by McCafe.
Yep.
Part of me wants Death Stranding to just be horrible.
Me too. I want it to come out and be fucking awful so that people can shut the fuck up about Hideo Kojima.
Right, but then that would give some smug sense of satisfaction to Konami, which I also don't want. Right, really,
I don't want that either. These fucking selfish choices, right? Fucking make Jeff Keighley sad or make Konami happy. Like I just don't. I don't know. So that's the list. I'm looking forward to it. Look, I'm a sucker for award shows. Like no matter what it is, like I'll log in sometime if I know there's an award show on.
Watch those red carpets.
I kind of do. I kind of do. Yeah, me and my wife, we just kind of sit there and be catty and talk about what people are wearing.
That's the best thing to do, dude. I love that.
Look, it's my thing.
I can see you doing that. You watch the AMAs?
I missed it. We were out on a date, and when we got back, I watched Survivor Series, so I missed the American Music Awards. But like I watched the CMAs. Won't know anybody but Darius Rucker. He's the only person I
don't even know who that is.
And you know who Darius? Oh, it was before your time. You know,
I don't know who that is. I know who Blake Shelton is. Apparently,
don't know nothing about No Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, he's the Hootie and the Blowfish
he's Hootie
guy. Oh, okay,
yes, he's Hootie, and the rest of them are the Blowfish.
I know who you're talking about.
He's the one black person in country music.
Hootie and the Blowfish is country?
More, but Darius Rucker is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a country dude.
Yeah, I know who Blake Shelton is because apparently he's the sexiest man alive, according to a vote made entirely by jars of mayonnaise and sacks of potatoes.
White people ain't shit. That is the truest story. Johnny Depp won that award twice.
2 times. White people ain't shit. There are 2 people on that like list with all the different headshots that they released that are like actually sexy, and those are Channing Tatum, Chris Hemsworth. That's it.
There you
go.
You
need some black people on that list, Joe.
Yeah, you do.
On that list.
I'm waiting for my call.
You were 101.
Oh, okay.
From what I understand. You were 101. We just missed it on every single one.
Right.
So. Would have really raised the profile of the show, though. Well, that's it for your regularly scheduled video game content.
Of the week.
No, well, because we have to talk about wrestling, so we don't usually do it those weeks.
That's my cue to leave.
Oh well, I mean, you can plug stuff before you go. Please do. Plug your Twitch. Plug your book.
I hope to be streaming more. Thanks to those of you who are regular listeners to the show. There are a few of you who did donate to my Extra Life this year. I raised like $540 for the Johns Hopkins Children's Center in Baltimore, so that's neat. That beats last year's total by about $100. So hopefully I can do that again next year and raise like $600 some odd dollars. Twitch.tv/sup it's Carrie. That's my Twitch. Hoping to do some more sort of like weekday afternoon streams, weekday evening streams. But it's the holiday season, so who the fuck knows if I'm actually going to have time to do that. But yeah, at least hit that follow button on my Twitch so that you can see when I'm streaming. And buy my book! You can buy it off of Amazon, densepixels.com/Amazon, and put in the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Video Games, and that'd be cool.
Yes.
That's about it. Time for me to leave, so you all can talk
about
wrestling.
I mean, we do housekeeping first before we talk about the wrestling. So, Dense Pixels Brad is my Twitch name. Micah is Dense Black Nerd. Terrence is Apparition 410, the most active out of the four of us for sure. DensePixels.com/fans if you are not part of our Facebook group, so you can get into those lively discussions that we're having every single day. Make sure you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes like Kadeem did. We will read it on the air, and we certainly appreciate that. At Dense Pixels, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and then of course subscribe to the podcast either on iTunes, Google Play Music, or any other podcatcher that you choose. So those of you that do not like the professional graps, feel free to bow out now. For the rest of you, listen to our review of WWE Survivor Series 2017. All right, so this past Sunday, Survivor Series 2017 came to you live from insert sponsor name here arena in Houston, Texas. And
the
of
Toyota
course,
Center.
That was a Toyota Center. I honestly couldn't remember. This was the first time that I can recall that, or at least in recent memory, where every single match was a Raw versus SmackDown match. And they're making a big deal about seeing who is going to have brand superiority, almost as if we resurrected the old bragging rights pay-per-view from back when. This turned out much better than any bragging rights pay-per-view ever did. That's for sure. 7 matches on the card tonight. Micah, what did you think overall of the show? I thought it was a good time.
Dare I say the best one of the year?
It's always so hard to remember back to the earlier ones.
I can't remember, and probably it might be because I'm so high off of this one. Like I had such a good time with this one that I want to, my instant reaction is to declare it the best one of the year, right? I had a really, really good time watching this. This was a pretty great pay-per-view. The ending, whatever.
We'll get to it. Like I said, as bad as the decision was to end the show the way they did, the way it was executed was tip top. So it helped make up for a lot of the bad decision making, I think, with that.
Yeah, but yeah, every match was interesting to me and was pretty goddamn good. Yeah, I loved it.
We start off with the match that I was most looking forward to on the evening, and that is the two best stables, arguably, in WWE history, squaring off for the first time that I can recall. It is the first time, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. This, of course, is the Shield representing Raw versus the New Day representing SmackDown. I wasn't too shocked that they decided to go with this match first. Good way to get the crowd amped up. And look, the Texas crowd, I give them a solid A-, I think.
Yeah,
they did a good job. They were there the whole night. They didn't try to go into business for themselves.
Yeah.
It was solid. It was a good time. Like I said, I only deduct them from a full A because stop booing Roman Reigns. There's no need for it. But yeah, so this is how they start. Look, man, I gotta tell you, as far like I'm gonna make a most entertaining rankings or like power rankings for the most entertaining wrestlers, not necessarily the best wrestlers, not the best technical wrestlers, but the ones who I enjoy watching wrestle because of the whole package. Yep. And one of the top guys on my power rankings is going to be none other than Mr. Big E Langston.
Dude, that dude is a performer, man. Like, he is a showman, and he knows exactly what he is. He knows exactly what his role is. I love that dude. I love all 6 of those guys, right? All 6 of those guys know what they're doing. But he is a big man that can fucking move. He's not afraid to fly if need be. He's not one of them big men that just do 1 or 2 moves over and over again. And he's good on the mic, man. Like, even when he's just like being loud, like, he's good. I love that guy, man.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's probably number 2 in my power rankings, man. The only person I'm going to put above him is probably Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens. So, this is a fun match, though. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of notes during the match. It was kind of standard fare. And then about 2/3 through the match, this thing just broke down into a bunch of nonsense. Essentially, it completely fell apart, but in the most fun way possible.
They were basically at each corner, and they as if they were on the battlefield. They're about to do battle, and just it's as if someone yelled charge, and then they just fucking ran after each other.
and like I said, everyone got a finisher in. Everyone got a finisher. I thought the match might have been over when they hit a double midnight hour on both Rollins and Ambrose simultaneously.
Yeah.
With Reigns incapacitated on the outside. The way the match did end, however, was a Shield powerbomb from the top rope.
Yeah,
onto Mr. Kofi Kingston.
A super Shield powerbomb. I had a feeling that the Shield was going to take this, but I'm not mad at anything that happened in this match. I know people give Roman Reigns a lot of shit, but like you said, there's no reason to boo him, especially right now. Like, when he's literally the exact same thing that you were cheering a few years ago. Like, he's just the big guy in the Shield now, right? Like, the reason he got that push is because you all loved him there, and that's his role now. So this match was great, man. I loved it.
It was a lot of fun, and I gotta say, also across the card tonight, this was the night where even everyone that lost still looked like $1 million.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, which you don't always see all the time. And by the way, they were keeping track of the score throughout the night. So if you're keeping track at home, it is Raw 1, SmackDown 0. Next up was the Women's Survivor Series elimination match featuring Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. I'm not going to pretend to remember all 10 folks that were in the match. We'll talk about them all throughout. This one was another one that I kind of knew how it was going to end up front, because they were going to probably use this opportunity to make Asuka look like a complete beast.
Yep.
And they absolutely did.
That's exactly
what happened. So you get Bayley rolling up Becky Lynch very early in the match and getting her pinned on a roll up 1, 2, 3. So SmackDown's team captain is gone within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Here. Yeah, it didn't last very long for her. Bayley, of note in this match, was given like a pep talk by Stephanie McMahon before the team came out. And she's like, no more hugs. Like, this is war. And Bayley did fight a much more aggressive style than she normally does in this match.
Do you think they're sowing the seeds for a Bayley turn?
I don't think you could ever see that, honestly. Like, she's one of those people that I can't picture her working as a heel, and I don't think it would benefit anyone to have her working as a heel.
I agree. I don't know. Bayley's okay on the mic. I don't know if she has the mic skills to be a heel. Like, you can get away with a lot as a heel if you know how to talk, or if you have a really good manager. And I don't think Bayley has it in her to do it. But I'm always curious, when I see stuff like that, I always wonder if they're sowing the seeds for something like that.
Yeah. She did not last much longer, though, because she got hit with a vicious Carmella super kick and followed by a top rope splash from Tamina Snuka. So she's out of it. So we're back to even. One of the matchups that everyone was looking forward to was the Samoan on Samoan crime hoss fight between Tamina and Nia Jax. They had a dual headbutt, which, of course, if you know anything about professional wrestling, a headbutt to a Samoan wrestler is not effective.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Right, but when two Samoans headbutt each other, apparently it's incredibly devastating. Frankly, I'm shocked there wasn't like a megaton level explosion, that happened, a la when Dutch and Dylan high five each other in Predator for the first time after seeing each other for a while.
Shit.
But unfortunately, as Nia was in the process of putting Tamina away, Lana jumped up on the apron to distract her, and you ended up getting about 3 super kicks from Tamina, which eventually knocked her out of the ring, and she would get counted out. So Nia is gone. SmackDown now has the edge. Now, this is where something kind of crazy happens. So Naomi from Team SmackDown pinned the Raw captain Alicia Fox, but it looked like a ref botch. Kind of, because it wasn't very clear when the pinfall was made. Like everyone thought she kicked out, but then the referee's like, no, you're out. And even the announcers were a little confused as well. But immediately after this happens, Sasha Banks jumps into the ring and puts Bayomi down with a bank statement, and she taps out. So now Carmella, I think if anyone, like Asuka, of course, was booked to look the best, but if anyone came out of this looking second best, it was definitely Carmella, who actually, in matching up with Asuka, held her own for a decent while.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised.
Well, and like you said, sowing the seeds, you're probably trying to build her up a little bit so that when she does eventually cash in that briefcase, that she's a credible champion.
Yep.
It was going fairly well for her, though, until she decided to slap the Empress of Tomorrow. Never a good idea. After that, she got hit with a vicious sidekick from Asuka, and she was done. So now it's 2-2. There is Asuka and Sasha Banks left for Team Raw, Tamina and Natalya for Team SmackDown. So Natalya made it out of the bank statement because Tamina came in and made the save. And then she was able to get Sasha Banks into a sharpshooter to tap her out. And so it's Asuka by herself against Tamina and the former SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Natalya. Tamina had her way with Asuka a little bit, but then she was able to avoid that top rope splash, put Tamina into an armbar to tap her out. And then Natty and Asuka had a nice little battle of submissions going back and forth. But eventually Natalya got put into the Asuka lock. You're not getting out of that. Thank you for bringing back the crossface chicken wing. Asuka, one of my favorite submissions. Bob Backlund will be proud. Your winner and sole survivor is Asuka.
Asuka not only like she eliminated the most people, and she, sole survivor eliminated the most people. Like, when do you think the Asuka train is going to be derailed? See,
so in the Monday Night Flaw comment thread for Survivor Series, I asked that very question. Who do you like? Do you think that anyone that's currently on the main roster could take her out and dethrone her? And that's a tough question to answer, man. Like there's maybe Charlotte is the only person that I could conceivably see. That'd be a hell of a match.
That would be a great match. But yeah, right now I think you're right. But with them being on split brand, well, I guess they could do whatever, right? But when do they usually shake it up after WrestleMania, right?
Typically, yeah.
Okay. So. All right. Well, look for Asuka to remain undefeated until until at least April.
So start calling her Lady Goldberg.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Raw's up 2-0. They do a backstage segment with Stephanie McMahon and Daniel Bryan being quite amicable to one another, despite the fact that, that whole trying to ruin Daniel Bryan's career thing that Stephanie McMahon did a few years ago. Continuity of the storyline, people, come on. I made a note though, because I had to point out that Daniel Bryan's combination of a blazer over top of a Henley shirt is a fashion faux pas, and I'm a little disappointed that the fashion police were not issuing citations for that little one there. I did not care for that, Micah. That's a little too hippie for my liking.
Yeah,
style.
I'm looking at it now. It is not. It does not look good. It
not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. He's not wearing it. No one can really rock that,
right? Not at all.
Ugh.
Not at all. It wasn't a great blazer either to boot. So
yeah, it looks like he got it off the rack. Come on, Daniel Bryan. you can have stuff tailored, man.
So next up was the battle of secondary champions. Baron Corbin, the United States champion on SmackDown, taking on The Miz, the Intercontinental champion on Raw. I like how Baron Corbin is the lone wolf, but he's totally he's totally Team Blue for SmackDown, wearing the SmackDown t-shirt and leading the charge and Monday Night Raw and all that, and like getting hype at the pep rally with Shane McMahon. I'm like, it's weird. So that's the only thing I don't like about these brand war pay-per-views, is that the heels aren't quite as heelish as they totally could be.
All of a sudden they're like all corporate.
Right. Go team. Micah, I think a question needs to be asked, and the answer is one to think about. Where does The Miz now rank amongst the greatest Intercontinental champions? Because he has to be high, doesn't he?
He has to be spoken of within like I don't know, maybe within the top 5. He is. I remember, man. I remember watching The Real World Back to New York and seeing this guy do his fake rock impression, calling himself The Miz. And I'm like, wow, this guy's really corny, but I kind of like him because he's into the stuff that I'm into. And to see this guy develop from what he was to what he is now, like, I'm super happy for the dude, right? Because he's one of the best wrestlers that they have on the roster in terms of overall talent to me. There's more to wrestling than just the physical act. You know what I mean? He is The Miz is pretty damn great, man. He knows exactly what he is, and he does it to a T. He is able to keep himself relevant, and he's able to keep this secondary championship relevant. Like, because normally people don't give a fuck about the Intercontinental and the U.S. title. I certainly don't give a fuck about the U.S. title, and I don't give a fuck about the guy who's wearing it. But yeah, man, the Miz is pretty. I mean, no pun intended. He's pretty awesome.
I think he's a classic example of a guy who got too much success too early.
Yeah.
Before he really figured it out.
Yeah.
And I think that I think after the whole WrestleMania thing, he started to really put the pieces together. And now, like, that dude's got to win a world title at some point, man.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, when does the title run for
let him be the one to knock off Brock Lesnar. Could you imagine? I'm not saying he's got to do it clean, but like could you imagine how amazing his character could be if he was the one to take the Universal Championship off of Brock Lesnar?
Oh man, look, now that you said it, I wanted to happen. Like, this is what I want to happen, man. Holy shit.
Like I said, it would be amazing, but we need to get to the match. So Corbin was really going in on Maurice, Miz's pregnant wife, who happened to be at ringside for this match. They cut a few promos between each other on social media as well. So Miz kind of got to work as a borderline face for the first time ever. Yeah, it's one of those anti-heels, you know what I mean, or anti-faces. Like and you don't mess with a man's wife, man. You don't. Yeah, that's just not something you do, in the words of Booker T. You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, is this what's happening now? But at the same time, like, he's still that chicken shit fucking, like, I still got my two guys out here interfering in the match, right, and doing all that stuff. Now, and I do appreciate the fact that they kept it simple for this match. They told a simple story within the match with Miz targeting Baron Corbin's knee, and going to work on that. I think he got chop blocked by Bo Dallas at some point as well. He put him in the figure 4 and all that jazz. It still tickles me to death that Miz uses Daniel Bryan's repertoire of moves, even though he's not even on the same show as Daniel Bryan anymore. And I also appreciate that Corey Graves plays the role of heel announcer, saying, we call these the it kicks here on Raw. The running drop kick made popular by the must-see superstar, The Miz. I love that shit. And while he was doing said drop kicks, as he was running into the corner, Baron Corbin comes out, catches him in the end of days finisher, and pins him, getting 1 on the board for SmackDown. I still think Miz looked really good even in defeat. Oh, I think he looked incredible, and I think this is the only way you could have really done this match if they are trying to pump up Baron Corbin for us. Like, I'm not a huge Baron Corbin fan. I don't know what the brass sees in him quite yet. He has an interesting look, but like the Miz says, you're just another generic big man that'll be gone in 2 years. Like, right. I get that feeling, man. We'll see. Like I said, at least he's a heel though, so that when the crowd turns on him, it'll be warranted. Yeah. Next up was the tag team champions versus tag team champions match. The Bar, who are the Raw tag team champions, against the Usos, who are the SmackDown tag team champions. Of course, the Usos cut a vicious promo, coming out to the ring as they are wont to do. Still a little awkward, that line of "Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary." It doesn't make sense. Look, I'm not going to deny the Usos their talent. And this gimmick that they have of being black dudes is working for them, but I'm still having difficulty. Like, they don't have enough bass in their voice to pull this off. Like, come on, yo! Like, you're trying a little too hard, man. Like, I don't know. And them wearing their colors with the like little frayed bottom of their shirts, like it looks like they're halfway in between their two gimmicks now. So it just doesn't. And they're wearing white now. They were wearing white in the match. I don't know if that's because this was one of the big 4 pay-per-view events, so you get to wear something different, or I don't know if this is a subtle visual cue of a possible turn. Yeah, I'm all conspiracy theorist when it comes to. No, you pay attention. You're a smart guy. But it's shit before. Yeah, like I've seen this stuff before. To me, they were white because they were representing SmackDown, which is like the blue and white brand, basically. That's what I inferred from it. Yeah. So I gotta be honest though, so that not that the match was bad, but it didn't really like nothing crazy was happening, right? Like it didn't hold my attention span for the vast majority of it. Like it was kind of the match you'd expect to see between these two teams, right? Is what I felt like you kind of saw. Where I paid attention, where it piqued me up a little bit, is when I saw that Tower of Doom Samoan drop.
Yeah,
from the top rope that looked pretty damn cool. And then the ending was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and I'm actually shocked that we've never seen it before. So to set the stage for you guys, Sheamus is in the ring. Cesaro's just been tossed to the outside. Both Usos are in the ring. They each deliver a super kick to Sheamus and then hit him with a simultaneous super kick. And then one of the the legal Uso brother looks outside the ring, sees Cesaro stirring, but he knows that they have Sheamus dead to rights. So he runs toward his partner, dives over the top rope to splash Cesaro on the outside. But as he's diving over the top, tags his brother into the match, who then climbs the top rope and delivers a flying splash to pin Sheamus. 1, 2, 3. That was really fucking cool. Yeah. And like I said, I can't believe we've never seen it before in a tag team match. But
yeah, I enjoyed the finish.
It was very neat. It is now tied 2-2 between Raw and SmackDown. Next match is another champions versus champion match. It is Alexa Bliss, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Charlotte Flair, the newly anointed SmackDown Live Women's Champion. I will say this to you, Micah. Alexa Bliss gets to benefit from some of the best booking in her matches in WWE, because she's still kind of figuring out the whole wrestling part. She's, of course, much better, than she was a year ago.
Yeah.
But she's still not up to the level of Charlotte, but they do a great job in producing her matches. And again, case in point for this one, early on in the match, Charlotte injures her ribs, and that gives Alexa something to work on during the entire match, basically.
Yeah, they played it right, because you just look at, first of all, the disparity between Charlotte and Alexa is, smart money is always going to be on Charlotte, right? Like, you would think that this would be a squash match, but I like the story that they told, given, in my opinion, Alexa's limited abilities, which are on full display when you have someone like Charlotte in the ring with her. But I wasn't too upset. I wasn't upset with this match, though.
No, it was a good match, as a matter of fact. Like I said, it's because that what Alexa Bliss doesn't do well in terms of physicality, she makes up for with the nuance stuff in the ring, right? Like, she knows how to target a body part, and she's very, like, she has one of the best faces in the business, because her face can tell you a lot without her saying anything, which is always good. She even out chicken shit healed a Flair in a match. she was in the corner begging off later on in that match there. Like, that shit was phenomenal. But yeah, like I said, I think injuring Charlotte early on was great. A great move, and it gave Alexa a chance to look strong against a far more skilled adversary. Yeah. But no one's surprised here that she avoided a Twisted Bliss splash from the top rope, and then immediately locked her into the figure 8 to get the submission. And SmackDown has come all the way back and leads 3-2 now in the Survivor Series running tally. Yeah. Basically. The next match, now, I was looking forward to this match, but I didn't know what to expect from this match, so I was cautiously optimistic. This is the WWE Champion AJ Styles on SmackDown wrestling the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar from Raw. Thank God that they got AJ Styles into this match.
Holy shit!
By the way, because I could not imagine, Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God, man! This match was pretty damn great, and I was a little worried, like you said, because.
Well, I didn't know how they play it. That's always the problem when you get into a Brock Lesnar match, and especially a Brock Lesnar match where his opponent is so undersized compared to him, because you have to find a credible way for David to chop down Goliath, right? Like, and that can be tough to do with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
So they very wisely decided not to fight that battle early in the match, and AJ Styles basically took the John Cena SummerSlam beatdown for the first 10 minutes of this match.
It was pretty goddamn glorious. There's this match was so good. Like you could see Brock. He was still just like a savage, but Brock looked like he came to play, and he was, because he was in the ring with a guy that knows what he's doing and knows how to make people look good. It was pretty goddamn great. Like I have it on here now, and I'm at the point where he's just being fed to Brock, where AJ is being fed to Brock right now, and AJ is doing an incredible job of selling everything that Brock is throwing at him. And then they, like, later on in the match, like, AJ starts building offense, and this was great, man. My favorite part of the match was when AJ had Brock in the calf crusher, right? They're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
Brock Lesnar. Let me tell you something. Brock Lesnar looked in so much pain during that calf crusher. I thought his calf had diverticulitis. That's how painful he made that move look.
And they're like, how's he gonna get out of it? How's he gonna get out of it? And then he just fucking grabs his head and just bashes his head into the mat. Like, well, that's a way to do it.
Way to do it, right? But AJ had the upper hand during the last third of the match. Basically, he did hit a phenomenal. He went for a Styles clash. That was never gonna happen. Right. He hits a phenomenal forearm, nails him, gets a 2 count, gets a long 2 count. Then he goes for a second one, and maybe predictably on the second one gets caught into an F5. Brock Lesnar pins him, but and again, Brock Lesnar's a guy that some days he deserves a lot of credit and some days he doesn't, right? Like, cause like sometimes he cares and sometimes he really couldn't be bothered to give a shit, right?
Right.
I think this is one of the ones. This more than anything else was a moment where I'll never forget this, because Brock Lesnar, even in victory, the whole way up the ramp, sold the shit out of the leg injury that AJ Styles cost him. And that's respect, man. Like doing that, because even though AJ lost and got the shit kicked out of him, that makes him look like $1 million.
Yeah, that makes him look like, wow, like he was able to put me through my paces, as you know, Brock Lesnar. Like he was able to. I'm wounded because of this.
Right, and that's not always how it is with him. Right. It's not always that way. So I mean, it's good to see it. I'm glad that he decided to go that route with it. And now they've set up AJ possibly losing his title to Jinder Mahal on Tuesday. So we'll see how that goes.
Let me ask you something about Brock Lesnar, like this whole Brock Lesnar situation that we have here, with him being the champion and him not being on television pretty much at all in a wrestling ring. What do you think about this? Are you tired of this? Is this something that, do you want to see him drop it, or can you wait till WrestleMania, or what are your feelings on this? I hate to call it an experiment because it seems to be working, but it's hard, right? Because it's like he's around enough that you don't forget about him. Yeah.
But it does kind of devalue that belt a little bit. And like, you can make the argument that one of the reasons that the Intercontinental title is high profile, not just because of Miz, because it's the highest ranked title that's being regularly defended on Raw. Yeah, like Brock feels like Shao Kahn, right? Like a video game boss that you don't really think about until it's time for you to fight the boss. You don't see the boss, in terms of story, like, people need to be going after the championship. Like, it's the whole reason why you're there. You want to be the best. And
to have storylines not revolve around it until 3 weeks out of a pay-per-view is just I don't know.
And look, right, like there's like the closest corollary you can draw to this is like NWO Hulk Hogan, right? Like NWO Hogan would never defend the world title except but once in a blue moon. But the difference is he was there every week, and usually the guy that they built up to fight him, like that was the journey. Is I need to get to Hulk Hogan. Well, yeah, you're gonna get to Hulk Hogan, but first you got to go through the rest of the NWO basically. And so you made the journey about that, so that when Hogan did finally defend the belt, it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Now it's just like Brock Lesnar kind of shows up when it's convenient around the big events, and he'll have his match, but you have a limited story build because he's not on every episode of Raw, and because he doesn't get physical on every episode of Raw. So it's a weird way to build stories. It's working all right, but I do kind of wish that the title was there every week, and that he was a little bit more involved with the build up to these matches instead of just it being, like they treat like a prize fight basically, which is okay, but that's not what pro wrestling is, right? Like it's about giving guys the belt to fight a guy and to make it more personal and that kind of thing. So.
Right. What's going to happen if a Raw superstar wins the Royal Rumble? Like when you win the Royal Rumble, you got 3 months of story that in an ideal world, you got 3 months of story that you kind of should want to build up to have it palpable for WrestleMania. What's going to happen if a Raw superstar wins it?
Right. And you could also say, sit there and say, oh, Goldberg, they were able to make that a big deal leading up to it. Yeah, but because they had the previous 4 months of history to draw back on.
Yeah.
So, and that's how they could make that work. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be, I have no idea what's going to happen at the Royal Rumble. So we will see. The main event of the evening, and now that it's tied 3-3, this is for all the marbles, Micah, as they say. This is the traditional men's Survivor Series elimination tag team match featuring Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Pearl Harbor job by Shane McMahon on Braun Strowman. As the match was getting ready to start, that was not a good idea on his part. Not at all. So I got to tell you, Micah, I've said on the show before that I'm not the biggest fan of one Shinsuke Nakamura. Mm-hmm. However, the 3 minutes that he spent in the ring with Finn Balor was probably the most impressed I've been with Shinsuke Nakamura since he's been in WWE.
Yeah, like you kind of get why, all the ICW fan, the internet wrestling community is, has a hard on for this guy, because I've seen a couple of his, because I was like you, I was like, what is the big fucking deal? Like the guy is in the ring and he looks like he's got Parkinson's with all that fucking gyrating and shit that he's doing. But then I went and watched a couple of his old matches and I'm like, oh shit, like this is a very different style of wrestling that is not in not just WWE, but usually like an American style wrestling. It's very, very different. And that's the disconnect, right? Like he can't do some of the stuff that he does in Japan in the WWE. But I mean, you could be a fan of the guy all you want, but he's got to adapt or die, man, because he's not he's a nice guy to fucking root for and all that, but I don't see him becoming a world champion or anything like that.
Yeah. You also got to see a very entertaining couple of minutes between Bobby Roode and Triple H. Yeah. Considering that Bobby Roode is basically Triple H for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So again, this like I said, they made everybody look good in this pay-per-view. Shinsuke got to look great during this match for the times that he was in the ring, but he was also the first guy eliminated because he basically had his way with the Raw team until he ran into the mountain of a man, or the monster among men rather, Braun Strowman, who flattened him with a running power slam. He was the first guy gone, and not too long afterwards, Bobby Roode also gone from Team SmackDown via running power slam.
Do you think they played it safe? Too safe?
Yes, I do. I do. Like I said, it's you and I talked about this offline. I think that what they wanted to accomplish with this main event was starting to lay the threads of these stories down that will probably carry them to WrestleMania for a few guys. And they did it though at the expense of not giving enough shine to some of the newer talent that they have, that they could have used this as a showcase match for them.
Yeah, I agree. This is no slam on John Cena or Randy Orton, but like, what if one of those guys were eliminated early?
Right.
And give Bobby Roode an opportunity to hang out a little longer than what happened. Like, you could still have your 3 or 4 on one finish with Shane McMahon being on SmackDown, but I'm playing What If now, and that's
absolutely. But so Raw 5-on-3, and they've got a Braun Strowman. So you think that they're in the driver's seat, but of course there's dissension in the ranks. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe can't get along. Triple H and Kurt Angle can't get along. So that gives SmackDown an opening, which we got to see the entire SmackDown team, including the eliminated guys, combined to suplex Braun Strowman through the German announce table as he screamed 999.
Do you think that there's like a slight hazing that goes on with the other with the foreign
well, now that all the new announce teams are here, they have to get their tables broken. The Spanish guys are like, we've been doing this for long enough, SA. Like, no more breaking our table. Get the fuck out of here. I've been tabled. No, German guys. My grasp on foreign language is strong. So this is where John Cena finally got to showcase himself in the fight a little bit, and him and Samoa Joe, which is a match I wouldn't mind seeing a full one of these days. They had some nice back and forth. And Finn Balor seemed poised to deliver the coup de grace to John Cena, but Joe tagged himself back in, and these two are now just all out fighting with each other. Which led to both of them getting AA'd. Actually, Joe took 2, and then he was pinned by John Cena. So he is gone. The first member, or sorry, is the no, it's now like, what is it, 5-2?
It is
or no, Joe's gone. It's the first member of Raw lost. So it's 4-3. It's 4-3. Now we got to see Kurt Angle and John Cena. I don't need to see Kurt Angle wrestle, man. He looks so I feel bad for him, because like it struck me during his entrance, like normally, like, and of course missing the pyro is kind of a big deal from his entrance, but I was waiting for him to be on the ramp, doing the like 2 fingers up in the air. He can't do that anymore because of his neck.
He just looks like an old man now, and it I mean, I made a joke about the whole Make-A-Wish thing being on the Shield, at the last pay-per-view, but this you could really feel it,
well, and they're being careful, but it's obvious that they're being careful. That's the problem, is that he's being very safe. And it's annoying because he's going to end up in like a WrestleMania match of some stature. And I'm just worried about, like, it's not going to be a good match because they have to take care of him, which they should.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, not even that it's not going to be a good match. Like, I don't want to see the guy get injured.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's got, I want to go metal with a broken freaking neck. Well, you might not be able to survive another one. So,
right.
I've seen it now. You know what I mean? I've seen Kurt Angle wrestle. I've seen him wrestle in the red, white, and blue. I don't need him
getting injured anymore. But so eventually John Cena begins the 5 moves of doom. And he gets to move 4, which is of course the 5-knuckle shuffle. But Kurt Angle is able to counter this. And eventually you get a combination where Angle slam followed immediately by a coup de grace from Finn Balor and another angle slam from Kurt Angle. And perhaps shockingly, John Cena is eliminated about halfway through the match.
Yeah,
it is 4-2. It is 4-2 Raw. So like again, they are on cruise control at this point. So now it's down to Randy Orton and Shane McMahon for SmackDown. Of course, Randy Orton going to be doing the lion's share of the work, as one would expect. Randy Orton, by the way, one of the best Survivor Series performers of all time, in case anyone was not aware. So he's wrestling Finn Balor. Another match I wouldn't mind seeing. Randy Orton, Finn Balor. They had some good chemistry, I felt like. But you saw Randy Orton avoid a coup de grace from Finn Balor and then immediately pop up and give him an RKO. So Balor is gone. And then and now it's Orton fighting with, it was Triple H, wasn't it? They brought in Triple H. You get to revive that old rivalry from back when. But Randy Orton is crawling towards the corner later on. He's been beaten down a little bit. Shane McMahon's there, ready to receive a tag. Just as Orton is about to tag McMahon, though, out comes the two finest gentlemen on SmackDown Live, and inexplicably left off of the main show. They were on the pre-show, but not the main show. We're of course referring to the dashingly handsome Kevin Owens and his new friend Sami Zayn, and they attack Shane McMahon, who they blame for all of the misery that has befallen them these past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, you felt it coming, right? You felt it coming. Eventually Shane would fend them off with a steel chair. Which he can do because they were not in the match, so he can hit them with a chair all he wants. Kevin Owens retreated to the ring to get away from Shane with the chair, but he received an RKO for his troubles. And then Shane McMahon was able to beat Sami Zayn up the ramp. However, in the midst of all this, recovered from his 5-person suplex is Braun Strowman, who tags into the match and then nails Randy Orton with a running power slam. And now it is just Shane McMahon left against the team of Strowman, Kurt Angle, and Triple H. And he realizes it, and he realized he even tried to get in the ring with the chair, and Jay came by and was like, no, you can't do that, and took the chair away from him. Good job, Jay. Following the rules. Right. But again, despite a 3-1 advantage, these guys can't figure out what to do. Like, Strowman was in the ring. He was the legal man. Triple H tagged him in. He's like, it's going to be me that puts down my brother-in-law. I'm doing this for my wife. It's the whole reason I'm here. I'm going to do it. And then he's getting ready to fight Shane. Kurt Angle tags himself in and says, I'm the captain. Like, I need to do this to redeem myself in Stephanie's eyes. Like, I got to get this done. And Angle has his way with Shane McMahon. Like he had his way, and he puts him in an ankle lock, and Shane kept crawling the ropes, and Angle kept dragging him back and crawling and dragging him back, and he got it. And just when you thought that Shane was going to tap out, all of a sudden Triple H comes in to the ring, kicks Angle in the stomach, pedigrees him, and throws Shane McMahon on top. 1, 2, 3. Angle is eliminated via his own partner, and now only the stupidest of us thought that maybe Triple H was in cahoots with Shane McMahon.
No, that was ridiculous. Right?
Well, and to that point, like, Braun Strowman looks incredulous on the ring apron. Like, what the fuck just happened? And then Triple H is staring him down. He's staring down Braun Strowman. Shane eventually recovers from his beatdown, and Triple H, has his arm around Shane. He's pointing at Braun Strowman. He's like, "We're going to do this." And all of a sudden, of course, the Cerebral Assassin turns codes, kicks Shane, pedigrees him. 1, 2, 3, and Team Raw has won the Survivor Series. And then after the match, and Braun Strowman played this off really well, because he looked like Triple H is celebrating. He's happy. Like, he's like, yeah, we did it. And Braun Strowman wouldn't take his eyes off of Triple H.
Yeah.
And he had the skepticism of, like, you really think I'm going to fucking trust you?
Right. He's like, I've seen these shows before.
Right. And then, so like I said, whereas the ending was shaky, this part was great, because eventually he grabs Triple H by the throat and takes him over to the corner and screams at him, if you ever do anything like this to me, if you ever try to cross me again, it's going to be the last thing you ever do. And meanwhile, Triple H,
yo, I thought he was about to cry.
Dude, he was selling the shit out of that. He looked terrified, and they had a real close like camera angle of his face. Like he was like the lip quivering and like some tears welling up in his eyes. Like he looked positively scared.
Well, I think he was scared because when Braun Strowman was screaming, some spittle came out of his mouth and was hanging off his beard, and I was scared for Triple H. I was like, please don't let that fall on me. Please don't let that fall on me.
And as Braun Strowman walked away, Triple H, now of course the fear morphs into anger for Hunter, and he turns Strowman around, attempts to give him a pedigree, but to no avail, and then he's picked up and flattened with a running power slam from Braun Strowman. And that is how we ended the show, with Triple H flat on the mat. And we will see how that plays itself out on Monday Night Raw. And for those of you that did not see, by the way, because they didn't show this on YouTube or anything, but a couple fans recorded on their cell phones, Triple H sold the shit out of that beating even after the cameras were off. Like Stephanie came down to the ring. She was working. She's like, come on, get up. So he stands up, right? And then he takes a step forward and does like a flare flop. so that we're not done. So then later on, she's leaving the ring, he gets up and he like stumbles to his feet and he holds his hands up. He's like, yeah. And then like he goes to do his pose where he's like, yeah, and does that. As soon as he does that, falls flat on his back, basically. He falls down. And then on his way up the ramp, he turns and waves turns and like puts his hands up to the crowd, like, yeah, I did it. As soon as he turns around and walks right into the stage set, basically. and looks dazed. It was very funny.
That guy knows what he's doing, man.
Right.
That guy knows what he's doing. You can't be mad at Triple H, man. Like he's not this isn't the 90s, you know what I mean? Like he's not, everything he does is for a reason, man. And that's funny.
So like I said, I'm curious to see where this goes. I don't believe it's going to culminate in a Triple H Braun Strowman match. I can't see that. No. What's more likely is that Triple H and Stephanie try to make life very difficult for Braun Strowman and possibly possibly take inspiration from the Daniel Bryan push with a guy who's 7 feet tall and weighs 350 pounds.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like I said, the ending, not the greatest. I don't think anyone really wanted to see Triple H, celebrating his earned victory in the middle of the ring in 2017. I get it, but it was done to serve a greater purpose down the road, which we don't see the end of the roadmap yet. So, yeah. But like I said, I thought the event was very fun, and it was a great time. And now I'm looking forward to getting to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I concur. This was a really, really fun pay-per-view. A pay-per-view is fun when I immediately want to watch it again.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened in this case. I was super excited for it. So we'll see. I think the next big one, the next good one will be, like you said, the Royal Rumble, just because they'll probably have, heavy hitters, all their heavy hitters, just like they did with this pay-per-view, all the huge, like super big names, and even people who weren't super big were able to participate through the traditional Survivor Series matches. So, I always love the big four, and this one did not disappoint.
It was good. And like I said, I don't mind the brand versus brand thing, because I said it's only once a year. It makes this event somewhat special if that's the theme that they're going to go with.
Yeah.
From now on, so I say yay. Like I said, go for it and bring it back, and I'll look forward to it, because this was a lot of fun. Like I said, even though it didn't do much to advance storylines, it was just a fun pay-per-view, and that's okay sometimes. It's not bad to have those storyless pay-per-views. Yep. So, well, that is it for us. Thank you guys for listening. We know you enjoy when we do these big four breakdowns, and we enjoy doing them because, like I said, we still love the wrestling. It's still a good time, and special props to Velveteen Dream. That was a lot of fun to watch.
That was a really good match, man. That was fun to watch, man. It's like got like a Rick Rude meets Prince thing going.
Yeah. Oh, well, he was blatantly taking the Rick Rude.
Yeah, with the
stuff.
whole yeah.
Oh, he had a rude awakening on him during the match.
So
it was a good time.
Good time, real good time.
So all right, y'all. We'll talk to you later next week. See ya.
See ya.